Well, hello there, and welcome back into your training. We are super excited to be joining you. You've got double trouble in this module. Greg and I talking to you about all things dream customer. Now, we often, you'll hear us refer to your dream customer as your tribe, your avatar. It doesn't really matter what we call it, but this is probably one of the most important exercises that you will ever do when it comes to growing your business on social media, because of course the platforms know who your audience is. The platforms know everything there is to know about you. They know how to get your attention, and therefore they know how to get the attention of your dream customer. So therefore you also need to know how to get their attention, because at the end of the day, if you are providing it with content it wants to show them, then your content's going to be seen by a lot more people.
Now, one of the beautiful things about this particular topic is it links so well into your purpose. And you guys are all here for a reason. Now, it's very easy to say, I love the products and I'm here to support the company's mission. But each of us are put on this earth with our own mission, and it's our opportunity to make a difference in the world when we stand up and step into our mission. Now, if you're not quite sure what that is, or if you're not quite sure, what do I post to get people to engage with me? How do I get people to actually comment and reply back to me? Well, that's all actually linked in together, because our tribe, our purpose, our mission, our dream customer all overlap, and that's what we're here to talk to you about today.
Awesome. Now, this is also not a passive training. Like with any of the trainings that you do with us, I want you to implement what you're learning. And so as part of this one, we're actually going to include for you as well, with this module in your download section, you'll be able to get the downloadable worksheet so that you can start filling this information in as we go through and we talk through this process. Now, I also want to just speak into something really important here, and that is this is about you, like Greg said, enjoying your business more, working with the people that you were put here to work with. And I want to be really clear about something. Most people, when they start in their business, and I did this too, think that they are here to please everyone because you just want people that are going to pay for your products or your business opportunity. You don't want to be, specific about who those people have to be. You just want to take people's money, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about earning an income. The problem with that mentality is that you end up attracting a lot of the wrong people you were never put here to please. You also don't speak to anyone specifically, and so no one feels like you get them. And people want to feel understood, they want to feel seen, they want to feel part of something. So we end up with a couple of problems very quickly. The other issue that you will experience when you please everyone is that you'll end up with a lot of what I call squeaky wheels. These are customers and team that you are not put on this earth to please, and they're the people that you can never get it right for. You might be listening to this or watching this training going, oh, I have one or two of those. The people who just cannot be pleased. Now, there's nothing wrong with those people. It's just that they're not your people. And by working really hard for those people, two things happen. Three things happen. First of all, you don't enjoy your business anywhere near as much as you could. The second thing is you're actually taking that customer away from somebody else who was put here to serve that particular person. But the third thing that happens, and probably the worst, is that when you put all of your attention into pleasing the squeaky wheels, which we all do, we've all been there, who are you ignoring? The very people you were put here to please, the people who you just click with, the ones that you love spending time with, that you do please, that are your dream customers. Instead of spending more time on those people, you're spending all your time pleasing people that you are not supposed to please in the first place.
So one of the little takeaways that I'd like you to come away with today is that the leaders who have many, many customers are really focused, and the people who feel a little bit desperate, who are struggling to have customers, will take anybody. Now, the trick is that the people that take anybody are often stuck with nobody, and that's an interesting thing. So just put that in the back of your mind, and we'll have a chat about that as we progress.
So we're going to go through today and we're going to explain to you how you can identify who these people are for you. And for everyone, it's completely different. But it does come back to this core principle, and that is understanding that Facebook and Instagram algorithm. Because remember this, and we've talked to you about this in the foundations training at the beginning of the academy section. It knows your age, it knows your interests, it knows your family life, it even knows your income. And therefore, it knows all of that about your customers as well. So what most people don't do, and what we want to show you how to do, is use all of this to your advantage. If you're wondering, how do I get more of my content in front of my people? It's delivering content that the algorithm wants to show them. Remember, it's always looking for content that you are going to be interested in, and therefore your audience as well. So speaking to your ideal customer is actually giving the platform content it wants to show more people. And so a few of the reasons that people fail completely at Facebook are they broadcast their message. They focus on making things look pretty rather than actually communicating with people about stuff that they want to hear, want to see, want to talk about. They don't provide value to that audience, and most importantly, they don't understand their customers, and we want to fix that for you today, because if this has been you in the past, this is why you're not getting results. And of course, you'll hear us say this again and again. When you speak to everyone, you literally speak to nobody.
So that is a tough one, and it's one that we are going to work through today, because most people don't believe us. They think, I just need a customer. We have that story going on in our head. We just need a customer, and work is supposed to be work. Actually, work can be great fun. We can work with people that bring us joy, and when we do that, and when we actually bring them joy, when we bring them value, and in return, they love working with us, and we all think it's fantastic, that is where your business starts to grow explosively.
So here are just a few reasons why doing this exercise we're going to do with you today matters. First of all, it's going to help you form a social media objective. It's also going to help you reach and directly communicate with your perfect people, your dream customer, your tribe, your audience. The other thing is that when you get clear about this, you'll end up creating a community of like-minded people. Now, one of the things I love about this, and you'll see if you pay attention, and you should always be looking for patterns of success out there around you. When you're looking at leaders and people that are doing amazingly well in the company that you're with, you'll notice something interesting. All of them, bar none, are unashamedly serving a particular group of people. They know they're not here to serve everyone. And when they get a squeaky wheel, their attitude is, hey, I'm not here to make friends with and please everybody. I'm here to serve a particular group of people. I know who those people are, and that's who I'm here to serve. You'll see those sorts of people time and time again. They have got a confidence, a courage, a strength about them that says, I don't need to be liked by everyone to be successful. And I really want to encourage you to start to step into a little bit more of that. It's just like building relationships in life outside of business. You know you're not meant to be friends with everyone. You know there are a lot of people out there that you will meet in everyday life and you're like, that's just not my person. So why don't we do that in business? Why in business do we decide that we need to attract everyone and anyone that is willing to pay? Because that is setting ourselves up for a very miserable business existence, let me tell you. Because by doing this process, you'll also experience so much more joy in your business. And I can tell you that from personal experience, because we went through this very journey ourselves probably about 8 years ago now, Greg, when we decided to specialize in just direct selling.
Yeah, made a big difference. And we've spoken to so many people since then. So one of the privileges that we get is we get to travel the world and we get to meet leaders face to face. We get to hear people's stories. We'll sit down and have a chat with someone who's struggling. Then we'll sit down and have a chat with a leader. And we get to see these patterns again and again and again. And you would think that it's vital to take any business when you're struggling. But actually, the people who become leaders are the people who know who they're here to serve. And they focus on serving that person or those people well, and that's where they get the queue of customers from.
Awesome. So, of course, the obvious question is, who is my tribe? How do I identify who these people are? And there are two key ways that you can go about doing this. I'm going to give you a third way a little bit later on, but we're going to start off with these two key ways. And I want you to start thinking about this, because a lot of people will ask us this. Isn't my dream customer just another version of me? And the answer is It could be, but I'm going to give you a way to think about this in a moment. Let's give you the first one. The first one is really simple. If you've been in the business for a little while and you've already got some customers that you have been serving, maybe you've got some team, the very first of these ways is to think about those best customers you work with and ask yourself, if I could clone some of those people that I just click with, these are the ones that you almost can do no wrong. Like they love your products, they love what you do, they love your passion. You can pick the phone up, you can talk to them and have a really great conversation at any time. They're the people that you're not afraid to talk to about the new release of product or whatever is going on in the business. If you could clone your best customer or customers, maybe there's 2 or 3 of them, what would they look like? And don't be afraid to narrow this down. Let me be really clear. When we narrowed our business down, we had a lot of kickback from people around us going, what are you doing? Why aren't you just serving any business that wants to learn social media? And our answer was this: when we get really clear about who we're talking to and we work very specifically with that group of people, first of all, they feel seen and they know we're speaking directly to them. But second of all, we're actually going to attract more people, even outside of that, because people can see that we know who we're speaking to and what we're talking about, and we're not here giving a generalized message anymore. And so when we got really clear and we said we only work with this group of people, we actually got more inquiries from people out of the direct selling industry than we'd ever had before. And it was actually really amazingly, what's the word I'm looking for here, Greg? I want to say invigorating, but it wasn't. It was
enlightening. It was enlightening to see. So
empowering, was the word I was going to go for. To be able to say to people, I'm sorry, but I'm going to send you off to someone else because we're not here to serve you. Knowing full well that if we'd tried, we would have spent all of our time trying to please a group of people that we just weren't built to please.
And isn't it funny, Sam, when they still argue with it and they're like, no, but we have to learn from you two. And so our answer to that is, well, all of our examples are for direct selling. We're not going to give examples. We're not going to give cheat sheets or support to anything that's not direct selling. But if you want to take a part of that and you want to translate it yourself, you're welcome to. That's how dedicated people are, and we get pushed for people to let them in. It's just an incredible turnabout, isn't it? It's very different to please come work with us. Pretty please be our customer.
So let's talk, Greg, about the second way that they might be able to identify their dream customer. Now, this one pulls on what I mentioned before, which is your dream customer just another version of you? Yes and no. Yes and no. And on top of that, you might not have customers yet. Maybe you're at the beginning of your journey or you can't think of 1 or 2 people that you'd like to clone. This way might be for you.
Now, I love this one. So imagine that if I cloned myself and my job was to help this me just right next to me, this person right here. And I'm like, hey, Greg, yeah, well, do you know? Yeah, I know that. And so you can't really help yourself from 5 minutes ago, but if you go back in time to just before you found the product, just before you found the business opportunity, and you can share some information with that person, oh, wow, I wish I knew that. That is so helpful. That is so, so cool. So who were you before you found the opportunity that you fell in love with? Who were you before you found the product? Because that person is hungry for it.
So it's about cloning an old version of you rather than the version of you right now. You now have the solution that you are trying to help other people with. So go back in time and interview, if you like, a past version of yourself. So what are some of the things that you want to get to know? Well, everything. Basically, you want to get to know everything. There is no detail too small. But just a few of the things that you want to start to ask yourself might be, how old is my ideal customer? Are they male or female? What's their career life look like? What's their family life look like? What are some of the brands that they love? How do they communicate? Now, the reason that these things matter is because they dictate and change the way that this person shows up in the world. Therefore, it changes the way that you need to show up to be in their pathway. Now, gender, for example, is critical because you will speak to a woman versus a man very differently. Now, while we have a few guys in here, vast majority of the people we speak to, because it's the nature of this industry, are females. So a lot of our communication has to be very specifically geared towards females. Otherwise, we're going to lose people. If we try to please the guys and the girls, we're going to be communicating in very different ways. And so Does it mean that we don't get any guys? Absolutely not. But the guys know this is a female-orientated industry, and they also know that we're communicating with those people specifically. Now, age is also going to matter because demographic and, generational differences are also going to change the way that you show up. Their family life and their career, you're going to speak to a new parent very differently to the way you're going to speak to someone who is an empty nester. And so again, the conversations, the problems in life that they're going to be facing are going to be very different. So this is where we get to talk to you guys about the 2 golden questions. Now, these questions will literally formulate everything you do, not just on social media, but everything you do within your business as well. And you should be asking yourself, is this connected with, in tune with, tapping into the 2 golden questions before you hit that post button or take any action in your business? So let's talk about what are the 2 golden questions.
So what's keeping them up at night is all about the challenges, the stresses, the anxiety and the worries. Now, it doesn't mean that if somebody is unwell, you have to have a magic wand that can cure them. What it means is having some empathy and understanding of what's going on in their world. If they're having some troubles with their kids, if they're having some troubles in their marriages, if they want to know how to eat healthily and they don't know how to do it, it's all of those things. Now, as I said, it's not about being the master of those things and the person with the magic wand able to fix them, but it is about caring about what's going on in their world and having empathy and understanding of it.
So the next question is this: what gets them up in the morning? Which means, what do they value? What do they care about? What interests them? So some examples might be, of course, what do they value? What brings them joy? What gets their interest? What gets them excited? What do they talk about? It could be things like cooking, romance, a beautifully decorated home, shopping, new things, feeling healthy or healthy family. It is simply identifying what matters to that person rather than just what matters to you. Now, a couple of ways that you can find this information out. And I'm giving you the manual options right now because I don't want to, productivity is really valuable and we are going to give you an AI option shortly. I want you to be thinking about this all of the time because those 2 golden questions are something we always need to be curious about. So you can do this by some really simple daily research strategies, such as looking at their profile, paying attention to what they're posting, not just what you're posting. Watch their comments and their interactions. You could even talk to them in person, pick the phone up or have a coffee with them. Watch groups and, of course, note and list down topics of interest, pain points, and things that they enjoy. Now, this is the part, Greg, where I get to talk to you guys about another tool that you can use to help you identify some of this information. And I love this because while AI for a lot of people feels overwhelming and scary, let me tell you, if you do embrace this tool, it can both enhance you. It's not about replacing you. It can enhance you, but it can also make you far more productive as well. So there are 3 really simple strategies, and we actually teach you these in the AI masterclass that's with this training. So you'll notice that in Academy, we've recorded for you some AI modules. I think there's 2, possibly 3. I think there's 2 in there that you can watch that are going to help you to understand how to do this. But I do want to just give you, I'm going to whip through this very quickly. I'm going to repeat a little bit of what's in those modules because for this particular exercise, which is identifying your dream customer, this is by far one of the simplest, easiest things that you can do to help you identify these people very, very quickly. And every time we do this with people, they are blown away at what they learn. Now, this is something, by the way, that I used to do with companies when I first started working in this business. I would spend weeks or sometimes months researching and learning about their target customer. And then I would provide them a report on all of the information we found. And in some cases, we even created a big, giant human-sized silhouette on the wall in their office with all the information that we'd learned, because I wanted all of the staff in that head office to always be thinking about that person that we'd identified, that dream customer. Well, we can now do this in seconds. I can't believe how much time I used to spend doing something that I can do now in 10 seconds. I'll show you how, and get far more information and far more accurate information now as well. So a few things AI can do in this space, and it can do a lot, but we're focusing on particularly identifying your target audience, how to get their attention, because that's very important. And then how do you then use AI or ChatGPT to multiply amazing content productively? These are the strategies we teach you in those modules. So we're not going to go into all of those right now. We also talked to you about how to prompt engineer. I'm not going to go into this right now. It is in that module, so you are welcome to go in there and watch that. I highly recommend that you do. But what we're going to do now is we're going to flick straight to a persona prompt, and I want to explain this to you that you can type into ChatGPT, and I've created 2 of them for you. So you can copy either of them. Again, these scripts are all in that AI training we've given you guys. But you can simply type in what you know. Now, it may not be a lot. It might be just a few key things that you've identified from what we've already talked to you about your ideal customer. You might have identified it's a new mum. You might roughly know their age. You might think you know they work maybe part-time, but you're not sure. The beauty of these prompts I'm giving you is you can insert as much or as little as you want and then ask it to expand for you. So in this case, the first prompt you can type into ChatGPT, and again, you can copy and paste this from the script I give you in the AI Masterclass modules, but this is what it looks like. Build me a persona of A, and you can insert what you know. So it might be a new mum with a baby under the age of 1. At A, and you can insert how they spend their time. So you could say, build me a persona of a new mum with a baby under the age of 1 who is not currently working, is a stay-at-home mum. She is responsible for, what's she responsible for? For keeping her baby healthy and alive. I think that was what I put in the example I give you guys very shortly. This person is looking for, and it might be sleep, help to get better quality sleep, a balance between her life and her baby's life. It might be beauty and wellness on a budget. Whatever that need is that you've identified that your dream customer has or is likely to have. And then this last part's very important because this is the instruction for ChatGPT. List their hopes, dreams, fears, concerns, emotional triggers, and how they make their buying decisions, and then let it do its thing. The beauty of using AI is you can correct it and it learns. I'm going to show you in just a moment what came out when I did this, but at first I want to give you a second prompt option. This second one is where you literally are listing out what you know. So you type in there, create a persona of someone who, and then you type role. What is their job or daily activity? You can type it in, or you can leave the instruction in there, which is what is their job or daily activity, question mark. If you don't fill it in, it knows you want to know this information. So where that black writing is there, you either leave that there as a question or you insert what you've identified. Okay, does that make sense? So in the brackets, you can see an example of what you might know. Now, you might know the role and the needs and the challenges, but you might not know the goals, the fears, the buying behavior. And then at the end, we've got that same instruction, list their hopes, dreams, fears, concerns, et cetera, et cetera. So here's an example of what this could look like. This is the first prompt I gave you, filled in. Build me a persona of a new mum with one baby under 12 months of age with a desire to keep her baby alive and healthy. Pretty simple desire for a new mum. This person is looking for ways to improve her baby's sleep while also managing her own energy levels and is considering products, services, and techniques to assist. And then that prompt, list their hopes, dreams, fears, concerns, da-da-da-da. This is the response I got. This took 10 seconds for it to give me this answer. It comes back and it says the name of this person, the background, the hopes, the dreams, the fears, the concerns, the buying behavior, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it'll write out an entire persona, an entire story for you. You can then ask it anything after this point. You can also correct it, by the way. So you might be looking at it going, oh, some of this sounds great, but some of it isn't quite right. So go back and say, look, I don't think this person is in their 30s. I think they're in their 40s, because you might know that about your ideal customer.
You can even have some fun with it. You can say their dog's name is not Max, it's Ziggy. You know, you can put all of those details in, and the more information you give this, and this is something you can go back to and you can learn from. Now, remember, we gave you those 2 starting points from before, which were when you were starting out, before you found the products, what were going on for you? And then also, if you could clone somebody. Now, each time you learn something, you go, oh, my favorite customer, I just learned that about them. Go back and update the prompts in ChatGPT and actually tell it this new information, and you will gain more and more and more. Now, the beauty of this is you don't want a computer to own all of this. You want your mind to learn all of this and know all of this, because it's so, so powerful.
So after we've identified this core information here, and you can do this about several customers, by the way, you might decide, well, I've got more than one dream customer. First, start with the lowest hanging fruit, but from there, you might want to identify some others as well. So after you've done this, you can name them and you can start to ask it anything and expand on the conversation you're having with ChatGPT. So other questions like, what information would help Emily make a buying decision? What social media post is Emily likely to click on? And so on and so forth. So that just gives you a little insight into some of the ways you can use AI to help you with this. But let me be really clear. We've given you guys some masterclasses on this to dive in a little deeper, and you can do this process with us. We just wanted to give you a little reminder and a taster for some of the other training you've got access to inside Academy that's going to help you with this process. But Greg, let's talk now about dating our customers, because it's one thing to identify all this information, but we need to do something with it.
Yeah, such an important thing. So, Sam, dating them, oh my gosh, it makes me think about the first time we met. Anyway, should I go there?
Gonna go, yeah.
No, I better not go there. So, but if we want to be focused on our customers, so what is it that is going on in their world? We need to be focused about them and how we can help them. It's not all about us.
So we're in the next module, we're going to talk to you about how to date your customers, how to use this information, and some of the really important key factors that are going to help you connect with them in a real and relatable way. So first exercise is this: identify what you know about your audience. And from there, we're going to show you what to do with this next. Remember, with every module you see in here, please make sure that you take something away from it and ask yourself, what am I going to do with this information? What am I going to do to get action happening? Because at the end of the day, it is not what we tell you about, it's what you put into place that's going to get you the growth. So one thing that you're going to do with this training from here, what are you going to action right now? Go and do that, and then you can tune on into the next module where we're going to talk to you all about how to date your customers and build that all-important relationship.